here is miserable. Remember how nice this was in summer? All sunny and stuff. It's miserable. As you can see, it is actively snowing at the moment. Look how high that is. And it's not planning to stop for quite some time. I should measure that to tell you how deep it is. I would imagine it's probably like 8 inches at this point. This is absolutely miserable. It is. Anyway, I figured this is a good time to just sit and chat with you. Oh, the weather outside is frightful. It looks terrible out there, right? So I decided today is a day that we're just going to chat. I'm starving, so I'm eating some fried rice that I made. So that's what we're going to do today. And today I decided I'm going to talk you through the Reiki session that I had. It was interesting. It was unlike anything I've ever experienced. And what's interesting, what led to the Reiki session was that I have a group of women friends, and we have a WhatsApp group. Well, we have more than just a WhatsApp group. Well, because of COVID, we're really predominantly only WhatsApp. Not WhatsApp, GroupMe. We're on GroupMe. And before then, we started out as a book club, and then we moved into like a sister circle where we kind of encourage each other and just, a good, solid, trustworthy circle of women friends, that you can just talk to for various different reasons. And we're all very different. But what I recently found out is that the majority of the women in the group have all gone to therapy. I mean, I'm thinking to myself, why have I not, is this something I'm supposed to be doing? Like, is therapy a thing now? Or like, what am I missing? I've never been. So, they kind of explain sort of their experience and why they go. And, mostly, what I got out of it is the fact that you should go to therapy if you feel like there's some pointed thing that you need to work through. But people don't just go to therapy for the F of it. You don't just go just because. But one of the girlfriends in the sister circle, her blood sister is a Reiki master. And she goes to her, and other people have gone to her. And it's a different form of therapy in a way, I would say. It's like and I didn't know anything about Reiki until after I went. I purposefully decided that I didn't want to know about it, so I wouldn't come in with any bias. I just wanted to experience it. My girlfriend hadn't told me about her experience. She just said it's good and it's helpful to her. I didn't know what would be happening when I went there. And I heard about one of my girlfriend's friends' experience, and the fact that he was skeptical and whatever have you. So I went in and I was just kind of like, I don't know what to expect. So we talked for a few minutes prior to the session, and I'm sure she notices I don't really know her sister like I know her. She doesn't know very much about who I am. And so we sat and talked, and I was trying to be very clever in the way that I had a conversation with her. I didn't want to divulge too much, so that maybe when she's doing her Reiki, which I still didn't know what was going to happen, she would use the information that I'm giving her verbally to assess, whatever it is she's going to be doing for me. So she would ask me questions. I was very terse and very just kind of like, yeah, and coy or whatever. And I thought to myself, I'm not going to tell her any more than what is readily available on social media. But I didn't give much more. So we started the Reiki session. And again, I had no idea what was going on. I didn't know if it was a massage. I didn't know if it was a discussion. I didn't really know. She talked me through a little bit right before we started what she would be doing. And what she described it as is that the human body resonates, gives off a particular energy at about 300 and something watts, megahertz. I don't know what the measurement was, but 300 and something. And she said for her, she's been trained, she's a master Reiki, and she's able to resonate at in the thousands. And so a much higher frequency or energy level than the body normally does. And so what that allows her to do is channel and move and, kind of manipulate a person's energy. Which I was just like, okay, whatever. I don't even know what that means, right? So I lay on the table, she lets me smell some oils and such, and she really just gets started. She said, you can have your eyes open, you can have your eyes closed, it's up to you. So we get started, and as soon as we get started, she I think I can feel the heat from her hands, but she puts her hands near my head, or I can feel her standing behind me and her hands over my head. So my eyes are closed. And immediately when she does that, there's this bright red glow that starts. And then it starts to blend and swirl with like orange and yellow, and it's like really psychedelic, but it's really potent and bright. So much so that I was just like thinking she had put like a strobe light or some lights or something in front of my eyes, and there was nothing there. I swear to you, there was nothing there. When I normally close my eyes, I don't see friggin' lava lamp going on. I don't see lava lamp colors. But that's what it looked like. It looked like, you know, lava lamp red, you know, yellow, orange going on. And it was very vibrant and strong. So as she worked, I can feel her kind of like moving around my body, and she would touch my hand and kind of, you know, do things or whatever. Not a massage, but just kind of touching, a little bit of pressure or whatever. And she just kind of moved through. As she moved, the colors would kind of shift. I would see a little bit more of one color versus another, etc. So here's where it gets interesting. So she moves through, moves down my leg, blah, blah, blah. She gets down to my right foot. And she says, you know what's interesting here? I am, there's someone here with us. There's an energy here with us. And I'm getting that it's a grandmother or something. And in my, as soon as she said that, I'm like, okay, all of this is some bullshiggity, because both of my grandmothers are living. So she ain't seeing no grandmama of mine. So immediately that's what I thought. And she's like, no, wait, this isn't a grandmother. This is like a great grandmother. No, definitely this is a great grandmother. And she's not speaking. She's a woman of few words, and she's smiling. She likes what you've been doing with your life. She's proud of you. She's smiling. She's looking. She's approving, and she's saying that you are exactly like, you know, the family. You know, very very strong, whatever. But she says that, you know, the family is a family of few words, very decisive, all these things, whatever, you know. And so she's telling me this stuff, and I immediately thought, you know, because my mother's side of the family, they bout it, right? They wild, they will set it off. They listen. When I tell you about my mother's side of the family, they wild, cackling ladies. But on the other side, like on my other side of my family, on my father's side, everyone's very subdued and calm and collected, and just, you know, very few words, very decisive, kind of, you know, that kind of a almost stoic, but not mean people, but very stoic. And immediately I thought to myself, that would be my father's side of the family. And so I spoke up in that moment. I said, that sounds a lot like, no, before that she said, I'm thinking this, right? And I'm like, that's definitely my father's side of the family. And I didn't want to like give her any tips that, you know, anything she was saying had any validity. So I was just like, okay, cool. And she said, and the right side of the leg is, she said, the right side of the body is the masculine side of the body. So this would be your father's side. So she's, you know, so she said that. I was just like, and then I said, that makes sense. So she had that down pat, and it made me feel good to know. And I believe in this stuff, right? Because I feel like energy is neither created nor destroyed. So if she felt the presence of my great grandmother, I believe that to be true. And so I felt good to know that my great grandmother would have been approving of the woman that I have become. So I felt good about that. Then she moved over to my next foot and said that there was some opportunity. She was sensing it wasn't like grave danger. It wasn't anything like, you know, screaming at her and that needed immediate attention, but there was some opportunity. She said she sees that I'm a type of person that likes to be outdoors and feeding off of the energy of other people. And that I was missing some of that. Like she said, I like to walk around, And as you guys probably remember, for those of you who've been rocking with me for a really long time, you guys know that my weekend ritual has always been to go and sit in cafes and people watch and walk all around. Like I walk for miles and miles. Like I get, you know, damn near 100,000 steps on my Fitbit over the weekends alone. because I would walk all through neighborhoods and just observe. Not even not my own neighborhood now. I just go to different ones and go to shops, and I would spend my weekends that way. It was my time to just have my time. And I would go, like I said, people watch, observe, but mostly walking a ton, walking a lot. And due to COVID, as you guys know, haven't been able to do any of that. So I am like a caged bird is what my husband describes it as. I've been like a caged bird. And the best I could do was, you know, like fix my outdoor space, which you guys saw looks terrible with all of this snow, but fix my outdoor space so I could at least get some sunshine. But with the snow and with all of this, you know, I probably shared with you, I don't know if I did, you know, this whole nationwide rash of carjackings and things happening. You know, obviously Chicago is not immune to it. We're a hotbed for it. I don't go anywhere. I literally stay in the house. I don't even go grocery shopping. I order everything online. And if I need something immediate, my husband, who's type O with COVID type, you know, I'm still concerned about COVID, type O. People are less likely to become infected or, you know, highly negatively impacted by the virus. So we send my husband out to go get the stuff. So I'm not going outside or anything. And the few times that I have gone outside, I've made a big thing about it and I film it. So you guys have seen every single time that I go out, I put it on YouTube. So you can count that. So anyway, that being said, she wasn't wrong about that. And I just said, interesting. So I didn't give her any validity to that at all. And so then she moved around and she moved to my left side of my body and she moved around my knee and hip area, and she just kept stopping to ask me had I injured myself when she got around my knee and my left hip. And I'm like, no. And she's like, well, I know you're really fit and, you know, you do work out. So I wouldn't imagine that that's anything wrong. She said, but I'm getting something. There's some opportunity here, but I can't read what it is. There's some weird energy here and I just haven't seen this before. I don't know what it is. And said, nothing, huh? And so I'm like, no. So she moves on and moves through or whatever. And all this time she's kind of moving through and I'm seeing all these sort of, you know, red, orange, yellow colors like I described before. So that was the end of that. And so we flip over. So she's now working the energy on my back. Similar, you know, experience, except the colors had shifted this time. The colors were all were green and blue and a tiny splash of purple. So all the red, orange, and yellow was gone. And then so she was working her way around. And there was only one weird part to me when she got to like my right knee / hip area. It was completely like nothing. It was like black and white. Like how I see things when I normally close my eyes is what had happened in this area, which was odd. And then she continued and she got down. She got to the middle of my back. You know, just the middle like this on my back. And it was and I was, you know, laying like this on the table. It was literally the brightest shade of like a bright, pulsing neon green I've ever seen in my life. So much so that I'm down here with my eyes closed and I'm like looking to see if she had shined some sort of light or something underneath the table. And there was nothing. It was just like, you know, regular room. So I'm like, what is going on? So I closed my eyes again and just as intense as it was before, it was back. And it was just pulsing and glowing and pulsing and glowing. I'm like, what is this? What's going on? And so she like finished doing her work and everything like that. And then we turn over and she's like, I got, you know, a little bit something else to do. And as she's around my head, because I can feel she's around my head, every color now is shooting every which color, every which way, blah, 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 whatever. And it's like, I've never seen anything like it. It's like fire, like a bio fireworks show, because it's not for actual fireworks, but it's just like every color just shooting every which way. So we were done, and as we were, you know, done, I got off the table. I was getting off the table, and like sparks were popping off of the table. And what the heck, ow, you know, and my clothes had no static on them, and I touched the bed and there was no static on the bed, but there were sparks that were popping when I got off the bed. And even she was just kind of like, I don't know what that was, because like it's a sheet on the bed. She's like, that doesn't like conduct sparks. So she's like, I'm sorry that happened to you, you know, like, but it was like, that's just, I feel like that's probably just how much energy was like being kind of transferred and stuff during this session. Like when I got up, it was like, clack, 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 like you could hear it and see the sparks from the popping. Anyway, I got dressed and everything and we got done, and she said, okay, I do want to share with you that, when I was doing the session, she said just something weird. It was around your left hip and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, and I just couldn't really read what that was. And she said, I've never felt that before. But she said, so just kind of be cognizant of that area. Something kept bringing me back to it. And I spent a lot of time there trying to move the energy and I couldn't move it. She said, but there's something there and I don't know what it is. And so obviously, like I said, I was being coy with this whole thing, but I told her, I said, do you want to know what that was? So that week, so I went and saw her on a Saturday. That Monday, I had gone to see my doctor, which you guys will see. I'm trying to think if you will see. I think I did a blog about it, but yeah. I always kind of go out and do things when I'm out in that area. I had gone to the doctor, and my doctor confirmed that I have a fibroid on my left ovary. TMI, I'm sure. But I hadn't told anyone about it. Now, had I told my girlfriend, like her sister, about it, I would have probably disqualified the whole thing and be like, nah, discounted the whole thing. Like, this is all fake. My friend told her about this. I hadn't told anyone about this. Only my husband knew at that point that I had the fibroid, that they had found the fibroid on my left ovary. So it's very benign. It just causes a little bit of problems here and there, cramps and whatever. It's not serious, so don't worry. But she picked up on that. And so I didn't tell her anything about it as she was doing the session, but because I didn't tell her anything about it before the session or after the session, because I didn't want her to use that information, or seemingly use that information to make me feel like this stuff was all real. I wanted her to find the stuff on her own. And she did. She found it on her own. And she was just like, yeah, I didn't know what it was. I've never come across that before. So maybe she had never come across anybody with any fibroids before, maybe. But she had definitely felt that energy. So when I left there, my girlfriend who had done it, she said when she leaves there, she walks away feeling very light. And just kind of like, that's just how her body feels, her spirit feels, everything feels light. I had the actual opposite feeling. When I left there, I was very heavy. Like, all my steps were very confident. Like, almost like I was very sure that I was present in this world and in this space. It was just like, and I felt sure that other people recognized and felt that I was there. Like, my steps were heavy and I was definitely here and present. So I feel like maybe the Reiki more so empowered me more than anything, more so rather than released anything. What she described to me was that my chakras were all balanced. And so I didn't share with you what Reiki was before we started this whole conversation, but Reiki is basically, you have chakras in your body, and all these chakras placed in different areas of your body have these different colors, and they all represent different things about your life, like love and and actually the part of your body, as well as different things about you, like love or wisdom or adventure, or all these different things that they kind of group into these different areas, and the chakras run all up your body. And those were the colors apparently that I was seeing, because I asked the Reiki master, I said, so what do the colors mean that you see? She said, oh, you saw colors. She said, not everybody sees colors. Sometimes you see colors, and then sometimes I also see the colors that you're seeing. Sometimes I see faces and this and the other. And I said, yeah, I didn't see anybody's faces, but I saw colors. She's like, yeah, I didn't see your colors. And she said, the colors that you see represent all of the chakras. And mind you, I did not look up what Reiki meant before the session. I don't know what chakras are. I know chakras are now that I've looked at them, but I didn't know what the chakras were. And remember when I told you she was here on the back of me and I saw that bright, bright green? This chakra is a green color. And so I was just like, that is insane. This is crazy. So it was really crazy that, I came in there as a blank slate, trying not to have any bias. And I feel like it did what it was intended to do. But she described to me that all of my chakras were balanced. I'm a very solid person. I didn't appear to be broken, which means I have a unique ability to be able to mend myself when things go wrong. And not everybody's like that. And so she said she didn't have to really unclog anything or like fix anything about my chakras. She was just kind of moving the energy around and reading my energy more so than anything else. She's like, it's very rare to have people come in and have everything balanced that way. So I felt good about that. And she said that was probably the reason why I never thought to seek therapy, is because things were balanced. Now, what I will say is, I feel like had I gone to a Reiki session before I switched jobs, it would have been a completely different story. She would have been moving all kinds of stuff, like, oh my gosh. But I feel like I'm at a good place in my life right now. I'm at peace, and I'm glad to see that it came across that way. She was able to read that that's the way, that I'm feeling right now in my life. Now, this YouTube stuff is giving me the flux. It's stressing me out. Getting up to 1,000 subscribers is really stressing me out. But in comparison to the things that actually matter in life, not so much, right? So anyway, would I recommend Reiki? Yes, I would recommend Reiki, 1 or 2 times a year, just to kind of level set and see where you are, if you're balanced or not, and get some help, or readjusting your energy if that's what needs to happen. And it's almost like I would liken it to like going to a chiropractor. Getting your spine aligned is just like getting your energy aligned, and now you know what it feels like to be balanced. And so then when things kind of feel off, you know when to come back. So I would recommend it. I wouldn't for me, I don't feel like I necessarily need to go regularly as a therapeutic thing, because it just, I don't need it. I don't think so. But I would probably go once or twice a year to check things out and see who else what other ancestral, energies want to talk to me. I thought that was probably the dopest part of the whole thing, was having, an ancestral energy come and visit. So that's all I wanted to share with you today. With this Fable Friday, I thought it would be best to just tell you that story, as opposed to, talking about products and this, that, and the other. This one I just found to be so profound, I wanted to share it with you. Now, you may or may not put stock into this or believe it. Is up to you, but I was just kind of sharing my experience. Hopefully you enjoyed that. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, share it with your friends, hit the like button, leave me a comment down below, ask me as many questions as you would like. I'll try my best to answer. Hopefully I can find Cara's information, and she's amenable to me sharing her information. I'll put it down in the description box below. If you're in the Chicagoland area and you're interested in a Reiki session, I'll put that down for you. So thank you so much for watching as usual. Bye.